Welcome to the WCAC meeting, the February meeting 2025. We are beginning at 7:31 p.m. And let's see, I think we just need to go around and acknowledge who is here. So if everyone on the committee could just say their name that they're here.
Anna Feldwig.
Nicole.
Well, Barbara, yeah.
Okay, we got Nicole. Barbara, did you say something?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
obviously here. I'm going to be eating a little bit of dinner. My apologies.
That's okay. All right. And then let's see. Allison, great. Okay. And me, Susan. So we have quorum. The three folks who couldn't join us tonight, two had a Cub Scout conflict, and then Linda had like dual birthdays or something in her family, so she was not able to join. But anyway, they send their regrets, and I'll be catching them up on what we covered during this meeting. So let me just share our agenda. This out of the way. Okay, great. So let's see. We are going to go through any stray housekeeping items, do our minutes. I moved up the liaison assignments and reports just because we haven't done those in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, I should say. And so I figure like if anyone has items to talk about, we should do that. Then we can get into our implementation matrix, and I'd love to make some headway on that tonight. Discuss parking challenges, membership, and then hopefully at the end we can make time to figure out on our calendars when we'd like to have a few in-person meetings in 2025 and get those set up. Elizabeth was just telling me before the meeting that the CMLP, so that's Concord Municipal Light Plant facility, is available. They have a really nice boardroom, and we could use that on Wednesdays for our meetings if we wanted. So just something to keep in mind.
I'd have,
go ahead.
You'd give me the list of dates and I'd have to check.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'd first start with, well, it'd probably be easier for all of you to go to the light plant. But we usually have too many meetings on Wednesdays at Kai's Road.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would check both, but, we'd find you a spot, but I don't know where.
Yeah, we've done Harvey Wheeler before, but it doesn't really enable a hybrid meeting, which is sort of a challenge. Yeah. Okay. So let's see, before we really get going, could I get a volunteer for minutes tonight?
I can do them. I'll listen to the recording, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Perfect. Totally fine. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then one housekeeping item I had is that I did get in touch with Jennifer Schuneman, who is one of the co-owners of the guitar museum, the to-be constructed guitar museum, and she's going to come to our March meeting. She and I discussed whether she should come tonight or not, and it sounds like they need a little bit more time to have something substantive to talk about. So I've invited her to our March meeting, and she has said that fits her schedule. And she and I did talk a little bit about the tree, because we had some conversation about that the last time we all met, the large old growth tree that's kind of in the front of their lot. And she said they were looking at different ways to hopefully preserve the tree, and it does have to do with the parking requirement and stuff. So at any rate, we'll hear more from her about that, I'm sure, next month, but it's on her radar. Just wanted to make sure you knew. Okay, let's see, minutes. I think I may be in possession of these unless Barbara, you are. Okay, I'll put these up on the screen, and I think Nicole rightly pointed out over an email with all of us that what the process of the minutes should be ideally is that whoever completes them, so it's going to be Anna for this meeting, would send them to Barbara, and then Barbara would send them out to everyone. People would get back to Barbara with their edits, and then Barbara would share them with the group during this meeting, and then we would hopefully approve them. So that is going to be our refined process.
I think John just didn't know about that process.
Yes, I agree. I think he probably missed the meeting where we were talking about that. So, All right, let's see. Let me get these up here. Hold on one second. Ooh, the meeting is being transcribed also. Okay, so minutes. Trying to think if I have these up here. Yes, I do. Okay. All right. I think someone had corrected these. Possibly it was you, Anna, but I wasn't sure I saw John send a corrected document. I think I saw like a set of minutes from 2023 that he attached, and my Google files might be messing up. So just wanted to ask you where you inserted a correction so we can check for it.
So if you go down a little bit. Oh, I don't, I'm sorry, go back up.
No, it's okay.
Up a little bit more. It was the part about how at Giroux, there was something that he had in there about the fact that there was going to be an accessible, like a all abilities accessible boat launch at Giroux.
Oh,
And
okay.
I had just said that the last time I heard from Public Works, I listened in on a discussion about that. They had agreed that it didn't make sense to put an accessible boat launch at Giroux because you'd have to have a path that sort of snaked back and forth and it would use a lot of space.
Okay.
But it would be very easy to put that at the existing boat launch on Commonwealth Avenue. You wouldn't need to do any access thing. You just need to expand or just like improve the boat launch. So that was all I had corrected, and I'm not exactly sure where I don't see what I corrected here. I mean, I don't even see the part that talks about it. But
was it okay?
I have his note. I have the record that he sent me, and I can send you my corrected version if you want. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what this is. That might have been somebody else's corrections on something else.
Well, this is the original version of the minutes he sent to us, and then he referenced a correction, and for me it came along with an attachment that was an old set of minutes, and so I never got to see your correction, but I'm also not really sure. I wonder if do you think you looked at the set of 2023 minutes that he attached with his second email and that's what you were correcting? Because
No,
okay.
but I can send you the ones that I corrected because I saved
Okay.
them separately.
Okay.
Maybe
Why don't
we'll have
we
to approve them next time.
yeah, let's do that and we can move on. But yeah, thank you for your attention to detail on this. And I don't know if anyone else saw anything in these minutes that they wanted to adjust. I think for me, they were okay, but maybe this gives us another chance to look at them. So here's what
Yeah.
I'll do.
I just think they were
Actually,
okay too.
what?
I just said they were fine.
They were fine. Okay, here's what we should do. Anna, could you send those minutes that you're talking about to Barbara? And then Barbara can send them out to everybody, and then she can be the keeper of any changes so we can get kind of like on a better track with her clerk duties. Would that be okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, let's see. So that is the minutes, and we will go back to not that. Stop share for a minute. Okay, so we can go back to our agenda, which is no longer visible to me mysteriously, but I found it. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna have to do this. Okay, do you guys see the minutes, or sorry, the agenda now? Okay, great. Okay, so let's see. Does anyone have any liaison reports to share from other meetings that you've attended? Nicole has raised her hand. Nicole, go ahead.
You're muted, Nicole.
I should always be muted throughout my the West Concord Junction Cultural District meet on the exact same night that we do. So I've been reading their minutes. I know a couple of people on the committee, one that lives in my neighborhood. And so it seems like there is some overlap in interest in how to support um, the businesses in West Concord. And as I was reading the minutes, and I just read them over again prior to meeting, it seems to me that there are a lot of organizations that are very interested, or committees that are very interested in West Concord, including them, the Transportation Committee, maybe the Trails Committee,
Mm-hmm.
and regarding to like the green space that you guys had talked about before, certainly the economic, maybe the planning board needs to have a voice in this, of course, affordable housing. And I was just wondering if there was an opportunity to have a representative from each committee to meet. I know it'd be hard to do it maybe logistically, but it seems to me that there's a lot of overlap with these different interests in West Concord, that it would be better to meet together to make sure there's not redundancy,
Mm-hmm.
all reaching out separately to the West Concord business owners, or
Mm-hmm.
like trying to create our own greenway when maybe there's something else going on. Elizabeth, I'm sure you know better than any of us about all of this, of how we can coalesce this, perhaps.
Yeah, because there's definitely a lot going on. Um, and so I think what I can, probably do is reach out to the key staff people and um, come up with an idea of um, you know, maybe it's kind of like everybody knows that there's I think it's every 3 months or 4 months, the housing roundtable, and
Mm-hmm.
all the housing groups get together and, just have a conversation about all the different housing things that are happening. Maybe it's time just to like kick off one West Concord roundtable.
Yeah.
I love that.
And
Yeah.
so have the chairs of the, like different committee members, as Nicole said, set up a Zoom meeting, have a conversation about, what do you think about having a West Concord roundtable, just to, talk about all the different things that are going on and what people are doing. And that might, that could be an idea, and I could float it to the different town staff that support, all those different boards and committees, and
Yeah.
then send out an email to the chairs and, get feedback on what they think.
That would be
Yeah. Yeah. I love that idea. I think that's awesome. At one point, like back when the WCAC was an in-person meeting, like 100% before COVID, we used to do on an annual basis, just like a West Concord open meeting basically, where people would come to Harvey Wheeler and a business or two would donate food, and there would be like tables and folks would walk around and talk to different organizations that interacted in West
That's right.
Concord. Yeah, so we used to do that pretty much like every summer, I remember, and that was the way of convening both just residents and other committee folk together. It was not a formal meeting. It just involved like a slight speaker program and then folks walking around and chatting with each other. But I like what you're saying, Elizabeth, because it would actually probably engender more productivity to have it be a bit more structured.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
will, I'll talk to staff, get everybody's input. And, then if it sounds like everything can, come together, I'll send out an email to the different board and committee chairs, about at least just setting up a conversation about, what do you think about this idea, and then
Yeah.
trying forward.
Yeah. I mean, selfishly for West Concord, it would be awesome if we could have that meeting prior to town meeting, just to kind of do some sharing of ideas and kind of get everybody's perspective. But I know that's
Yep.
coming up in April, which is really soon.
No, town meeting's in June.
In June? Oh, hallelujah. That's
June,
great.
Michigan.
Okay.
June,
All right.
starts June 2nd.
Okay. So then we have
but-
much more time. Yeah.
Yeah, but so what the only caveat is right now myself and quite a few other people and select board members and a real concern with I'm going to say citizen activism burnout
Mm.
with, you have, MCI Concord, you have, the, 40B, you have the Historical Commission and the Historic Resources Plan, you have, the things that TAC wants to do and, the things the cultural district is doing and town meeting. And so we're, kind of, the affordable housing. And so
Yeah.
we're, realizing that, um, you know, beyond staff burnout, you have citizen burnout, and that's not helpful either. So,
Yeah.
it, and I know like in the next week or so, I'm just trying to have, just a little, Alphabet River Bridge, public info session,
Hmm.
just an hour in the morning, an hour from like 5:30 to 6:30. People can just come in, short presentation, just get an update and ask questions. So maybe something, not as formal as, like the housing roundtable. I think,
Yeah.
that now goes for an hour and a half. So maybe just, little short bursts where, an hour and, so try to,
Yeah.
limit that citizen burnout. But so I'll float all these ideas and then I'll get back to you, Susan.
Okay. That would be
Okay.
awesome. Go ahead.
When you say citizen and staff burnout, I think I know what you mean, but I just want to make sure. Do you just mean that there are a lot of meetings, there are a lot of issues, and people feel like they're just overwhelmed and they can't sort of get on top
Yeah.
of things? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you have your regular Board of Appeals meetings, you have your regular planning board meetings, your HDC meetings. On top of that, you're going to have this, this sprint to the finish for visioning for MCI Concord. It's, there's a lot going on in the community, and then you throw town meeting in there, you throw April 19th in there.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, you worry people end up, having to choose what, I can't do it all. So, and that's not good for, really good active participation either. So,
Yeah.
I'm relatively new to getting involved in this, but it does feel like there's more than you can keep up with. And
yeah.
what has changed in the past 5 years or something? Is it just that there is more going on and people are involved?
Um, I think it's, I think it's a little bit of, just that perfect storm. The 2020 census, the final numbers don't come out till, 2023, and we fall 3 units short of 10%. And then boom, boom, 240Bs. We haven't had a 40B for more than, 12 years. And
Yeah.
then, last year, the governor just announces, closing MCI Concord. And then, this accelerated time frame on, visioning and, that process. And so and you had your normal things already in the work being teed up. And so those can't stop. They've already, started. So I just kind of think it's, was just, a little bit of a perfect storm, nothing that anybody could have planned for.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, we are happy to support your efforts to get folks together about the Assabet River Bridge plan, because I know that's always of high interest to everybody. And like, if we could convene these West Concord committees that have an interest in West Concord, and maybe choose the topics that we talk about, as opposed to like everybody taking 15 minutes or whatever to list off what their committee is working on. I kind of think that would be really productive, because to Nicole's point, and others have observed, there's a lot of overlap in what we're all talking about, and maybe getting together and collectively making some decisions would be helpful to the many causes we're working on.
Yep. So I know, so Susan, I didn't know if you wanted to stop sharing the agenda,
Oh, I could do that. Yeah.
but, and then Nicole had her hand up.
Oh, go ahead, Nicole.
What I was thinking is, if each group of interest of West Concord was given 5-10 minutes, streamline it, make it so streamlined, and almost like you're pitching a request for a proposal or something very, very quick. Sorry, not request for proposal. I was thinking of something else, more financial terms, but so that you could easily get to the gist, and that everybody had to have their act together within their presentation.
Yeah, I like that.
Outlined.
Yeah, I think that's great. Okay. Excellent. Okay, and Nicole, you have your hand up again, but maybe it's just from before. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's see. I think we can move on to our beloved matrix, if everyone's okay with that. And I sent it out to everyone on the committee who's attending. If you want to look at your own personal version, I'm going to be sharing a version that will be like filtering and all of that stuff, and that'll be the master. But if you wanted to look at the one that you received, you can do that in order to focus in on the pieces that you had originally completed. So let's see. And then I don't know if anyone else who's on the call wants me to, I don't know, can I put in the chat like a linked version of this? I'm not sure what I'm able to do here.
No, so we, for public meetings, we, the chat's disabled.
Okay.
We can't monitor it, and it's not recorded as part of the meeting, so.
Okay.
But I can tell you right now, you have Wendy Rivoli, who's your select board liaison.
Okay.
And Linda Escobedo, and everybody knows Linda. And then Christine Zale is the senior planner in planning division, who's gonna be supporting, the planning board and board of appeals and me. So
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So let's see. I suppose what I can do then is just share my screen, and we can do the filtering, and the folks who do not have a personal version can just kind of watch what's happening. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. All right. And I need to got like my control thing here that's really in the way. Okay. All right. So what I have done here with the information you all completed on this matrix is to add some columns. And the first column is whoever was assigned to the particular item. And I do have some that are set aside for me to ask Elizabeth about, which I think, Elizabeth, maybe I should just set up a separate meeting with you to go through some of these, because they're related to like big decisions that the town maybe needed to make at some point. And I am not sure how to classify them. But basically, it's whoever was assigned to it. And then I, using the values you all had indicated in the notes that are over on the right, let me see if I can go over there. Um, yeah, we made some notes as we were going over this stuff in previous meetings. I took the liberty of assigning a status that kind of like aligns with an order. And let me see if I can get to those. Oops. Like complete, not started, partially complete. And then there's another one that I was using that we'll get to in a minute. So at any rate, I've tried to classify them and then also give them an importance in our current time. This matrix was originally done in 2010, I believe. And so it may have like fallen out of date. And so I just wanted to assign an importance and also whether it was relevant to MCI and whether there was funding available that we know of to to at least partially address the need. So in no case do we have complete funding for stuff, but I think we have partial funding for a few things. So I guess what I was thinking is that I could filter by who was assigned to the particular rows and we could look at them and see if you agree with the classifications, especially this importance as of 25 and also MCI relevant, and we can just go through and, make some decisions on the finality of this matrix. I still have to have the other three folks who couldn't join us tonight talk about their rows with me. So we're not going to finish it tonight, but I was hoping we could make some headway with that process that I was talking about. So let's see. I think what I will do is just going to go in order, alphabetical order to filter these. And I know Linda's not here, unfortunately. Let me move this over.
That's okay. We work together, so hopefully I can. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see. I think maybe what I'll do is filter on the completeness, and we can kind of like look at these as groups that might be most efficient. So these ones I marked complete, but I didn't assign values for the importance in 25 or MCI relevant. So these are extending Beharrell Street to the west and connecting it to Commonwealth Ave. Actually, for these complete ones, I take that back. I don't think I want to be covering these. I want to cover the ones that are not started and partially
Right.
complete.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, that would be more efficient. Okay. All right. So here, let's see. I'll do partially complete and then we can move on to not started. All right. So enhance pedestrian access to and within the commuter public parking lot. In process, would you agree that's partially complete?
Yeah, they have done some things. I'm remembering, trying to remember my conversation with Steve Dukran about that. I think this was one of the places where it's hard to get in touch with the MBTA,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and coordinate there. And they know work is going to be coming in that area, like when the Assabet Bridge project is done. And so it's sort of, it didn't sound like anything's actively being done and everyone knows it needs to be and probably will be with some of these future projects. Is that your sense too, Elizabeth? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think
Okay.
Susan, the sentence you have, that it that is part of that, the previous sentence is part of the Assabet River Bridge and Trail project. They are designing a connection.
Okay.
So
Okay. So actually, I think what was there was good.
I think it's in progress.
Okay. So let's see, partially complete.
I think as far as the relevancy to MCI, I think all of this is probably really relevant, and needs to be looked at and will be, I believe from what I hear when I go to those meetings. But I don't know if you're gonna mark it, like if that's high or low, or I don't know what but I think it is relevant to MCI.
Because it speaks to the connectivity of that whole area.
Yeah, because they're always talking about, they're not just talking about the parcel itself, they're talking about the traffic flow through West Concord, and they're talking about the connection to the Assabet River and all of that. You know, the hope is that this all works together. So in that realm, I think it is relevant and should be flagged. And I guess I
Okay.
can give an update, and Elizabeth probably has more, you know, exact news, but I know that they're very close to hiring the consultant.
Mm.
And I also know that there's a, you know, a long list of stakeholders that they're going to reach out to. I assume that the West Concord Advisory Committee is on that list of stakeholders. I actually don't know. I don't, but it seems like we should be.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, they haven't started reaching out. There seems to be sort of a waiting, and then a whole bunch of work is going to be happening pretty soon. But it seems like we're getting closer to the time where this matrix might be relevant or might be handed to someone or something.
Yeah. Okay. That's great to know. I noticed, I think the outreach committee for MCI has a meeting on Monday, the 10th, and I was going to see if, because I'll be working from home, if I could just attend that and get a sense for who's who and how we can be more involved now that they're hiring a consultant.
So what I can tell you is that a consultant has been recommended to the town manager. The town manager is the one that makes that final selection, and then, you know, then go through the contract process. But Allison's right. So if that contract process takes, you know, a week or two, whatever it takes, then that consultant team will, as you know, as the term that's being used, it will be a sprint to June 30th. So
Okay.
while the legislation has, you know, mandated stakeholders that need to be you know, included in this whole conversation, the MCI advisory board has identified over 100 stakeholders, and West Concord Advisory Committee is definitely one of them.
Oh, great. Okay. That's great to know. So yeah, we should probably try to get this matrix finished, I would say by the end of February, to make it useful to that consultant. Do you think that's about right, Elizabeth?
I think that's about right.
Okay. All right. So given that, let us plow forward. This next one is reconfigure intersection of commuter lot driveway and Com Ave. This I know involves the MBTA.
So that was already done. That's
Okay.
The new driveway that came in, and it got reconfigured and then went off to
Okay.
the spur for the new parking and bicycle storage for the Bruce William Rail Trail. So that was that reconfiguration that was done.
Okay. Great to know. All right. Then we have this one, okay, this one is underway, partially complete. I marked it more important now.
Yeah, I would say in progress.
Okay.
It's if that's one of your statuses.
Well, it kind of isn't, but maybe I didn't realize that some things were like actively happening. I guess I had determined like some things are creeping along, but maybe not being actively worked on. And you're saying this is being actively worked on.
It's creeping along, but it's being actively worked on.
Yes, Aaron.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll use
whenever
yeah.
Mass DOT is involved,
Yeah.
it creeps along.
Okay,
Does
because you
it
had,
make sense, Elizabeth, for anything that's in progress or partially complete? If it's in West Concord, it's relevant to MCI and to just flag it that way?
mm,
Um, yeah, I mean, I can't think of too many things that are on this matrix that aren't in one way or not relevant to MCI to begin with. So
okay,
I'm,
so we'll default to yes.
yeah.
I'll just check and see what these ones are. Pedestrian bridge, Main Street, Baker Ave, Cottage Street intersection. Is that relevant to MCI?
Um, uh, it, it all, eventually, yes, it all depends on how the traffic is gonna
Okay,
flow, what the uses are. So I can tell you, um, I think in progress is probably a better term for some of these project-based things.
okay,
Because, I just, engineering is, completing the design work and, there's easements that they're in the process of getting. So, I mean, it's in progress. It is actively, being worked on and it is moving forward.
okay. That sounds heartening. And so yes, we will change the status here. And then I marked these ones that are in progress as MCI relevant. Okay, so
Is it true? I don't know how, is it, select the ones, Elizabeth just said she can't think of many of the things that are on here that aren't relevant. So even the projects that are completed might be relevant because these planners have to get up to speed, and I don't know to the extent to which they look at what's been done on plans. Some of the stuff's been done really recently, like the widening of the sidewalks and, curbs and things like that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. So right now, what's going to happen is for the visioning process is, what, what are the, different uses that the, town wants to see and, um, those types of things. What they will also be doing is, that fiscal impact analysis. So,
Right.
What will the different uses, how will those impact the town, fiscally? And, you could have, let's say there's a, a really intense, commercial use, let's say, a
Amazon
hundred,
Call Center.
well, a 150 room hotel, so of, yeah, the intersection, of Baker Avenue and Main, Street, that's going to be relevant. Anything with the commuter rail, that's going to be relevant. So it kind of,
okay,
it's, and the previous projects that were done, um, I don't think you have to say, those are relevant because those will be kind of part of what's our existing, our existing conditions, what can be handled and tolerated and what can't. Um, so I, yeah, I, if I don't know if that's helpful.
No, I think that is.
so we can use the MCI relevant to like draw people's attention to what is still outstanding to possibly be completed or what's in progress, but that affects the MCI decision making, maybe. Okay. Let's see. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, new connector street between Com Ave and Maple Court. I kind of put that as not
Yeah,
applicable.
not feasible, I think is.
Okay. Yeah. So then the second one here, Com Ave, Losbrook, Kinney Dunn Square intersection, option 1 roundabout, and then there's another row down here about the T intersection. So these are two different, I guess, visions of what could be there. I mean, I think these are not started from what I can tell. I mean, I think there's maybe been some effort to get grant money, which I don't believe has come to
Right.
fruition, but,
They've got plans on both, I think. They've looked at both.
mhm,
And at least Steve Dukran thought that that place would definitely be addressed with the whole MCI thing. You know, but it's going to depend on what they do with the Rotary and whether there's still, ComAv is still a throughway
mm,
into West Concord or not. And
okay.
yeah,
So, I mean, is it accurate that I guess it's hard for me to say that it's not started if they have plans, but like, there's really no movement on it. I don't know if we can say it's in progress, can we?
no, I don't.
Okay, okay,
But it's very relevant and it really needs to be addressed. It's very dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I leave this as it's not been started and it is more important now than when this original matrix was done, is that accurate, do you think?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so then we have this one here, reconfigure Main Street and Com Ave intersection. That
Was that
started.
the street light? Did someone wanted a third crosswalk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what was already completed.
Oh, okay.
So
Third
that's where
crosswalk.
they kind of
Enhance.
straightened out the intersection a little. Had the free, now have the free right arrow from Main Street onto Com Ave. So that was the work that was done is when
Okay.
Bruce Freeman Rail Trail was being constructed.
Okay. All right. This is work from
The third crosswalk idea, that's new.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Other idea is third crosswalk. Desired. Okay. So I'm going to put that in the notes, but we're going to say that this is hard because the original thing is completed, but there's still conversation about how it could be better. So I'm not quite sure how to capture that for the purposes of MCI. I don't know.
Elizabeth, is this one of those existing conditions thing? Like it's completed as far as we're gonna take it and they'll look at it?
Well, I think you have the notes that bring up this, this third crosswalk. This might be one of the options where you put partially completed.
Okay.
And somebody can look and it's like, well, what, hey, but it was reconstructed. And then they look at the notes and it's like, yeah, it was reconstructed, but here's the third crosswalk idea.
Yeah.
Is that the area that is by the Village Tavern?
Mhm.
Ballet studio? Am I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I see, like, as I mentioned previously, I see strollers, parents with strollers running across the street.
Yeah.
62 because there's not a crosswalk there.
Yep.
People, it's amazing how people don't want to do crosswalks. So a crosswalk there would be really, really important. And I live in the neighborhood near there. So I go down that street all the time. That intersection by I think it's Derby at that point and Main Street.
Okay. So I've put this as partially complete, and I would say would you say it's just as important to resolve this as it was back when the original idea of fixing it happened?
Certainly being a member of this neighborhood, I would.
Okay. Let's see. Then this last one is stairway or ramp from Com Ave to Harley Wheeler Center and proposed Overlook Park. I think we had talked about how this is like difficult to make it ADA compliant. I marked this as less important now, just because I feel like there's a lot going on and people don't seem to be like clamoring for this, but just wanted to put that out there.
I think all the discussions were that it's not financially or logistically feasible.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and definitely very, very low on the priority list.
Yeah, compared to some other things. Okay, so I'm going to leave this as it's not started and it's less important now. Okay, so these are Allison and Linda's items, and now we can go to Anna. Okay, so this one up here, let me just see why I gave this a very different status. Oh, develop and implement a parking management plan for West Concord. So this one was done, probably the intent of this matrix was to have it done. It was done, but now we actually would like a new parking plan, I think, or we're thinking that it could be improved. So that's why I put complete, but needs to be refreshed. And then it's more important now. And MCI relevant, because more people at the MCI property is going to equal more pressure on parking.
Yep.
Okay. So then let me go to the other ones. Let's see, we'll do partially complete. Okay, so this one here. Improve pedestrian crossings at key locations along Main and Com.
Yeah. So the one at Church Street, we heard from someone that the issue was something. Does anyone remember exactly? We heard from somebody, and I think Elizabeth, you knew that there was some reason that one was particularly difficult, the Church Street crossing.
It's because of the distance you have to have a crosswalk from an intersection.
That's it.
Okay.
So I'm not sure that one I think is probably impractical.
So it was like sort of a crosswalk was grandfathered there before, and then when they repaved the road, it went away, and they realized that they couldn't put it back because of current traffic rules.
Where is this?
This is just the bottom of Church Street. What it comes down the hill, right where the train crosses.
Like the tea
I-
cakes are twin.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it comes down to because there's no, you can't have a crosswalk that goes from a sidewalk across a street to nothing. And so there's no
Oh.
sidewalk, it basically dumps you out at the railroad. There's no continuing sidewalk on the other side until you get all the way down, to the building on Com Ave.
So people basically should not cross there. It's too dangerous.
Right. So, the design standards, you can't have a crosswalk that dumps people into nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a bunch of things mixed into this one descriptor. So there were nice crosswalks put on Com Avenue between Main and Lawsbrook. But let's see, the one Main to West Concord Tavern, that was the one we already talked about.
Yeah.
And then CPW needs to be involved with federal and state designs, and Kenny Dunn, we know, is a disaster, but that's also discussed above. So I think actually the only new thing here was the Church Street one.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe we should change can we change the project or program to the Church Street crossing in case it comes up again, to know that one has been considered and the others are covered in different places?
I guess we could.
I don't know how it impacts like that West Concord master plan. Maybe it's indexed to a certain number in an area, but
Oh, that's
it is a
true.
little
Yeah.
confusing the way it is.
Yeah. So what we're saying is the other crossings that are in this description are addressed elsewhere in the matrix, and we want to just focus on the Church Street one for this row.
That's what I'm proposing. I don't
Okay.
know, if that's a bad idea because of something else, but
I'll put a note here. Change this row to just focus on Church Street. Elizabeth, from the integrity of this matrix, are we able to kind of morph one of these rows so that it, is more, say, focused on, in this case, the Church Street crossing versus the other ones? Because this originally was just all about any
Yeah,
pedestrian crossing.
I think you're getting a little too far into the weeds, and I think what you have is good enough for people to have an initial understanding, and if they need clarification, then they can ask for clarification.
Okay.
The amount of work that all of you have done on this matrix, far exceeds anything that any other board and committee has ever done. Even the planning board, when they do their yearly matrix, action item matrix for the Envision Concord plan, this has so much information in it that I think it's going to be very helpful. And some of these minor, if they need clarification on something, it can easily be asked. But
Yeah.
right now there's a lot of information that I think getting this done is going to be better than getting it perfect.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so let's move from partially complete to, wait, so not started. We still need to be filtering on Anna though. Yeah, okay. Let's see. So this one, enhance and expand public off-street parking lots. This one is, I think we could say that one is in progress, right? As opposed to not started. Is the,
So if you go back to, if you can go back to the end column.
oh, sorry,
The topic it again.
over here, sorry. Yeah.
So enhance and expand public
Oh,
off-street parking lots. That's not the planning board, that's the select board.
okay.
So the planning board is just zoning requirements for parking for uses on private property. So they
Okay.
do not have, it is the select board that is the entity with, public parking lots, on-street parking. And so it's not that it's the select board, it would be a select board conversation that needs to happen.
Okay.
Probably also, with Public Works Commission and other stakeholders.
Okay. All right, so this is not really started, although there's a lot of interest in it, but I don't know that there's any forward movement on it. And importance, public off-street parking lots. I mean, I would say that, well, I'm thinking about MCI relevance. I feel like it's MCI relevant in that eventually if you have the level of business and people that are going to come to whatever the MCI property turns into, that you would have pressure on parking.
Yep, I
So I'll
agree.
put yes. I'll put yes. Okay.
And then the private one is the next line, which is
Okay.
a whole other kettle of fish.
Okay. So this one, the planning board is focused on. Is that correct from what you said, Elizabeth?
So it's not, so the planning board deals with looking at the zoning requirements for parking and different uses.
Okay.
Um, so, yeah, so the planning board is looking at, zoning, the parking requirements under zoning for different
Mhm.
uses. And then it would be, whether it's the EVC or, working with, um, you know, this committee or working with, the Concord Business Partnership or, at, enhancing, current private off-street parking lots.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
And the next one, I think that one is not started. And that was the idea of having parking areas for the train in the Baker Avenue Business Park.
Mm,
I looked all over, I didn't see anything. Certainly seems relevant.
It hasn't been started, but I can tell you that the owners of 310 Baker Avenue are, have been made aware of this idea.
okay.
That's useful information. So they're thinking about it.
Uh, when the bridge happens, the Assabet Bridge, that will connect it, right? That would make that possible for people to park at Baker Ave and then walk over?
It could make it possible. It will come down to, once the Novo is built, the tenant, what the tenants are, in 310 Baker Ave, and, and whether there's available, I'm going to say surplus parking or not. But so they're aware of that conversation, and it is something that, once they get the Novo project built and 310 Baker Ave fully occupied, they're more than, willing to have that conversation.
So we should probably say that it's at least the same importance as it was in 2010, if not maybe more important, given what you were saying, Elizabeth, about all of the building and the bridge coming and all of that stuff. Should we level it up to at least be same importance?
I would level it up to same importance.
Okay.
And then maybe, can we scroll back over there? Because I think there's something
Yes.
that might just confuse people. So where it says, think about removing on-street parking from one block of Com Avenue. That's in there because last time we talked about this, I said, has anyone thought about making it so it wasn't just these two dense, like, cars on both sides in front of Woods Hill Table
Mm-hmm.
and in that little stretch? And I don't think that's the right place for it, but
Okay.
is that mentioned anywhere else in the West Concord plan? I don't think it is.
I don't think
And
so.
is it, do other people think it's worth thinking about that?
I think if there's a good place to put it, it's a idea. They're going to be considering lots of ideas, and if that one pops up and is appealing, I think it's not bad to put it in if there's a right way to put it, right place
Should
to
we put it maybe in the public parking line?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, none of those spaces don't in any way belong to the businesses that are right there, right? The ones on the street.
No.
Okay. Public. All right. Now, let's see.
Is on the first block of Com Ave, or when
Oh,
it just
it just says one block, but maybe I should be more specific, like on the block of Com Ave.
think it's the block with
Woods-
Firefly on one side and
Woods
Woods
Hill.
Hill Table on the other. However, whatever we call
From,
that.
Yeah.
from Main to church.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Great. All right, so let me move that. I think we had one in progress, and I just wanted to dig into what that one was. No, actually, no, we don't have anything for Anna that's in progress. Okay, so I need to filter again, and
I think
we
the
are
only other
going-
thing I had were the little alleyways coming off of ComAv,
Okay, hold on. Let's
which I
see.
don't think are MCI relevant.
Clear the filters. Okay. There we go. All right. And do you remember what the status of that was? Or what the status I put was? You said
There
it
was-
was, go ahead.
There was one alleyway that
Oh.
could be spruced up. Let's see, where is it? Oh, and the also screening of parking, that was the other thing.
Okay, let's see. If this list that's John or Anna, and I'm not sure what is in there, but maybe what you're talking about is in there. Yeah, okay, upgrade pedestrian alleys.
Yeah. Oh, so these are the last three, right? So the top row is the thing about screening all
Mm,
the parking that sits in front of 166, which I do think would really help.
yeah,
And definitely, I mean, that is MCI relevant, I think, because it's sort of as you enter into West Concord from that direction, it's the first thing you see, and it's not our best
yeah, not our best look.
presentation.
Yeah. Okay, so that one, and then this is, we already talked about pedestrian crossings. This one here, the alleys.
Yeah, so I counted 5 alleys as you walk through town.
Mm-hmm,
There's one between Lawless and Loveday that's just grass, and that was
Mhm.
the only one that I could see that could be developed. I have no idea if people want to develop it, but it's big enough to put something in.
mm-hmm,
And then the other 4 alleys, the ones next to Reasons to Be Cheerful, has a little table and it's got brick flooring, but hasn't had much done to it in a long time. It has a little gate portico over the entrance.
okay,
And then
From what used
there,
to be the gatehouse.
oh, okay, great. And then the 2 Deborah's buildings have places to sit and eat.
mm-hmm,
And then there's the little tiny alley that's called the Tender Art Space that's right next to Joy Street, and it's just a little, it's a little passageway with a little glass enclosed like mini building showcase area,
mm-hmm,
which is cute, and I think is serving a purpose. So I would say it just needs ongoing care.
yeah. So let's see, we had marked these, or I had insinuated that they were partially complete and about the same importance. Do you
I
think
think
that
that's
is
right.
still right?
And
Okay,
not MCI relevant, yes.
yeah, okay. I'll put that for you because I didn't know who was in charge of that one. Okay. All right. So I think we've gone through all of Anna's. And we are ready to move on to Barbara. And I think Barbara had some, oh, me and Barbara, we're going to ask Elizabeth some things. So actually I'll not do those right now, but we'll just go through the ones that we think Barbara was able to complete. So let's see. I'm gonna filter partially complete. Okay, encourage life cycle housing types in appropriate locations in the village and surrounding neighborhoods. We called that one partially complete and same importance and MCI relevant. Does
Yep.
that sound about right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and then another one on the housing strategy, housing and open space development on southern portion of MCI property.
That would be Junction Village.
Yeah. So would we say that it's, I don't know, is it partially complete? It's really not. They have to
No.
issue an RFP.
Right. The
So-
RFP, I'm not even sure it's quite been issued yet, has it, Elizabeth?
No,
I
no,
think
they won't be issuing it. It's all going to be part of the MCI Concord conversation.
yeah.
Okay. So would we say it's not started, or should I leave it as partially
Well,
complete? But
so can you scroll to the right? What is the,
sorry. Says a revised RFP is going to be going out to developers. The recent
no, so
closure.
that's, yeah, so it's in progress. It's,
Okay.
you know, development of the property is going to be part of the MCI Concord visioning process.
Okay.
So I would definitely say more important now,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, and you want to take out the stuff at the end about
the RFP.
the RFP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, yeah, development of this property is going to be part of the MCI Concord visioning process.
Okay. Property will be part of MCI visioning process. Okay. Great. All right. So that is those ones. And let's see. We've got some not starteds for Barbara. The facade and sign improvement program. I put that as not started and more important and MCI relevant.
Yeah,
I don't know as it's more important now.
I think it's like the signs have gotten worse as they've gotten more like skewed in terms of the angle they're at.
Well,
I don't know.
it probably depends upon which signs we're talking about too.
Yeah.
So are we talking about signs on buildings? Are we talking about signs like the parking sign that Anna discovered is virtually hidden by the trees and foliage, et cetera? So it kind
Yeah.
of depends upon what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have a sign improvement program.
Right.
For sure. And its level of importance, it probably connected to MCI, just to let people know where things
Yeah.
are and what's going on.
I feel like it's more important because like if more people will be passing through the signage challenged areas, it just invites more confusion.
Okay, we also talked about signage along the trails at the last meeting, and how it would be nice to have better signage, especially we know there's some there, some historical signage, et cetera, so maybe we can work on that.
Yeah. I'm going to put this off kind of like in a parking lot area that I'm creating, just to make sure we don't lose the idea. I think that when the Matrix was made, probably because the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail didn't exist, like they weren't thinking
Right.
about that, but I think it is important to
But
put
it's
that in the
interesting,
proper
even
spot.
since we started talking about this, how many things have changed, partly because of the MCI closure, that
Mhm.
things that seem like they were written in stone at the time are now very much more in flux.
Yeah,
Hopefully
totally.
positive in the end.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm going to now filter on the stuff that we had said that we need to ask Elizabeth, since Elizabeth is here.
No, I was just gonna say, give me 2 seconds. I just have to make sure my wood stove is still going.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
I'll be
we
right
can,
back.
yeah, okay. We can look at these and see if there are any that have cleared up enough that we don't need Elizabeth's input. Okay. For some reason, I thought we just talked about this life cycle
We
housing.
did, yeah.
Okay. Okay, hold on one second. It's my bad filtering. Okay.
You had them in red.
Yes, yes, I do. Okay. So this one was comprehensive strategy for housing in West Concord Village. Wow. That's a big one. And then incorporating housing development provisions into zoning regulations for West Concord Village. Yeah, I'm still stumped by those.
Right, right.
Well, your MCI zoning might have addressed some of that for West
Right.
Concord.
Yeah.
So you think like upcoming zoning is going to encompass that?
It already does, I think.
Oh,
What was
okay.
passed, yeah.
Okay.
And Elizabeth can come further. It's not specific to West Concord, but West Concord's incorporated into it.
Okay.
Stove still going?
Oh no, I had to put more wood in it. It's usually a blue job, but my husband's up in Vermont snowmobiling without me, so
And missing all the fun of going through the Matrix with us. Oh my gosh.
I know. How dare he?
Okay, so these two here, Elizabeth, I think we need to get your input on. Establish comprehensive strategy for housing in West Concord Village.
Do we have that?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I so I mean there's been, like there's been some, these incremental improvements. Like to the combined business residents,
Right.
lowering the, threshold for affordable units but even then, the planning board for not this town meeting, but they have a consultant on board who's going to look at the combined business residence, which I'm come hell or high water, we're going to change it to mixed use like everybody else. To make it so that it is more usable. But no, there really is no established comprehensive strategy for housing. And it, I don't see it something, being something, that's gonna happen. I think it's going to have to be part of the initial conversation, definitely with MCI Concord. But starting in fiscal year, so starting in 2026, the town needs to start the 2-year process to update the long range plan because it'll be 10 years old in 2028
Yeah.
already. So no, I would say this is definitely not, not something that is being done. It has not started and, is not being done.
Okay, not started.
Yep.
It is MCI relevant, I would say.
Yep.
Importance as of 2025. What was our value for still important? So it's not more important, not less important, but just like important the way it was before, would you say?
I think it's of high importance.
High importance.
Do we have that word?
I think we had like more important now as the kind of like most escalated version of importance.
Well, certainly in connection with whatever going at MCI, he's got to.
Strategy though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't want to throw a wrench in this at all, but consistent with other documents, we have low, medium, and high priorities
Oh, okay.
instead of the word using the word important. So it may be,
Okay. I can
you
change
know,
it.
I would say that, having, a strategy with everything that's going on, with 240Bs, MCI Concord, still don't know what's going to happen with 1440, 1450 Main Street.
Oh, wow.
Land Court, Monday ruled in favor of the developer on the earth removal permit.
It did? Oh,
So,
shoot.
yeah.
Mm.
So, not sure, what's going to happen with that. So I think it is, it's a high priority. When all of these things get built, then it's going to be looking at, okay, well, let's look at the other types of housing, the mixed use, that's what keeps, villages vibrant.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So then the next one, also about housing, incorporate housing development provisions into zoning regulations for West Concord Village.
So I'm going to say that is in progress. The planning board is currently beginning to work with a consultant on revising the combined business residence bylaw.
Okay. So planning board work consultant on combined.
On amending the combined business residence bylaw.
Okay. All right. So it's in progress, importance, I would say, is it high?
It's currently being done. So I would say high.
Okay.
And I think it is MCI relevant.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So I think we can take away the Ask Elizabeths here. Awesome. All right. So the next place we're going, not to John, not to Greg, got Nicole. And why did that not change? I just need to, I'm going to do select, well, clear, select all. Sorry, I'm not used to the way this filters. I'm an Excel user and this is a different program. Okay.
Can I make a suggestion, Susan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You haven't saved this document in a long time.
Well, honestly, hopefully, okay, let me do this.
Does it save on its own?
It should be saving on its own since
I'm
it's
just
a
paranoid.
Google. Yeah, no. I totally get it. I totally get it. I think it's saving on its own because it's on my Google Drive, which is one redeeming thing about Google, but I don't know why this is to select all 9. And I think, oh, okay, I have to do okay. All right, so then let me get to Coles, no, clear. Great, okay. So I'm gonna filter this for, oh, I guess we've got a bunch of completes and maybe even more not starteds. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Expanding the Warner's Pond Dam Pocket Park. A house was built on that property. I think we had said it wasn't as important to do this now, and maybe this goes to like low in our new sort of rating system.
The house was not built on the house was built on a property where there always was a house.
Right.
Right.
Oh,
We're
okay.
talking about buying the land to create a larger pocket.
Yeah.
When I was reading that they wanted to purchase that land to create a larger pocket park than the park that's there.
Yeah. I think
So-
you're right. I do know that when I talked to Steve Dukran about the plans for redoing Kenny Dunn Square, if they end up not having a rotary and had a T, then there's a scenario where they could get rid of the V off that way, and it could sort of expand the pocket park that way. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's making sense to anyone.
Yeah,
So
the
I don't,
really dangerous piece they could
Yeah.
get rid of.
Mhm.
right. So I don't know what that says about anything, but it could happen if they decided to restructure Kenny Dunn in a particular way.
Wouldn't we say in status, like, add that it's now part of restructuring Kenny Dunn?
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a potential to expand the pocket park with the redesign of Kenny Dunn Square.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think you need to say anything about the house.
Right,
'cause-
yeah.
Okay.
And I think the term engineering uses is that's called a slip road.
That makes sense.
Slip road. Okay. So you're saying this pocket park would be called a slip road? I'm not sure if I'm
No,
understanding
no,
that.
the current that current, free, free right, free left. So
That's a
right now
feature
you
of
come
Kenneth Dunn
down-
Square.
You come down Com Ave, if you can take that free right, that's
Oh,
what they
yeah.
call it. They call that
Okay.
like a slip road.
Okay.
But-
Do I need to put that in here anywhere, or
No.
do you think? Okay.
No,
all
I
right.
was just
Yeah,
trivial knowledge.
yeah,
Something-
planning
something
trivia.
else
I
more
love it.
important got
Yeah.
shoved out the back, so.
Okay, so should we boost this up to being about the same importance, which would actually make it medium in our new rating system, or what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be nice to expand that.
Same importance and MCI relevant, because it's the same as all the work along Com Ave.
Yep.
So on your, importance rate, I mean, if you change that to priority, you have low, medium, high, and
Mhm.
then whatever term you want to use, not, no longer considered or
Yeah. Yeah.
something
I
like
can do
that.
that. Let me just put that here. Low, medium, high, not.
And-
And change importance to priority. Is that what you?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
or no longer considered, because, all of these are in the matrix.
Yeah. No longer. No longer. Okay. I'll have to go through and change all the values later, but I'm using the new rating
Sorry.
system now for the rest of it. That's okay. No, I just want to I want to make sure that it's usable for everyone. Okay, so let's see. Then this other one here, new Confluence Park on north side of Neshoba Brook and Assabet River. Okay, part of the Junction Village project.
Is this now part of the MCI redevelopment as well?
Yeah, I mean, the conversation of development and open space, that's going to be all part of it.
Okay. Okay, so now we're on this one here, 67, Heritage Park along Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. Yep. So that's different than the park that's adjacent to the Club Car Cafe, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, so
It's near
Behind-
Brookside.
yeah, behind Brookside Square, as you go down the path, there is the interpretive panel. There's the switch rail tracks that they left in. There's a bench.
So is that what was envisioned here, do you think?
It can be cleaned up.
Uh,
Okay.
There's actually
So-
like 4 benches there. It's a
Yeah,
pretty big
yeah.
space over the
Yeah.
bridge,
don't-
over the.
Yeah, I don't
brook.
think nobody calls it Heritage Park, but I think, that's, they did make it like a little pocket park seating area.
Okay.
I don't remember interpretive signs, but
Yeah, there's an interpretive panel there.
Mhm.
There's a sign about the factories that were there.
Yeah. It's probably, I'm gonna say it's a good 4 feet wide,
Mhm.
3 feet tall.
Okay. So we think that this is probably actually completed per the vision that was in the matrix, just because like the benches have been installed and signage put in and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think so.
Okay. Okay. So I'm removing importance from anything that's designated as it's complete. Like I
Mhm.
just haven't put in an
Mhm.
importance because I don't think it's needed for going forward. Okay, so now did we do this one already? Let me take a look. Oh no, okay, yes, we did. We did that. That's completed. Neshoba Brook Trail. Yeah, that's a very informal thing there.
That the trail that goes along the brook behind the bakery and behind Brookside.
Yeah, that's my interpretation.
Um,
Mm.
The behind
no, I'm not,
Brookside is
I'm,
used a lot. I mean, it's got a paved pathway. I see people walking there often.
But all the way towards where it's supposed to be, it's just a informal trail, because I walked it a couple times to make sure, and it's very, very narrow past the paved way past behind Neshoba Bakery and whatnot. It's supposed to go longer. It's supposed to go, I think, over towards the Concord
Concord Park.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was completed. It does continue
But it's
around Concord Park.
not ADA compliant. It's just like one person, like it could be like just like walking trails in Cousins Park in some ways. It's just
Yeah,
pathway. It's not
yes.
real.
Well, it's not gonna be a paved trail. It's just a path.
It's
Trail.
very informal.
Would it like, is it not going to be paved because it's so close to a body of water? They wouldn't want to put impervious surface there, so they'd have to put gravel or something if it was going to become anything more formal than what it is.
There's not even gravel.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an improved trail, no.
Is
Okay.
it underwater part of the year or not necessarily?
No.
No, I don't think so.
And you also
Only
have
if
the
we have
Concord
really, really high water, yeah.
behind Neshoba. So saying that it needs to be a certain material because it's next to the Assabet would be incongruent.
Yeah, I don't know that for a fact. I was just thinking that there might be some kind of regulations.
Right. I can imagine.
So okay. So it's an informal path. We would say that well,
And
probably
they
nothing
said
has
too late to
happened
apply
to
for
it.
anything.
I'm kind of thinking we should
No.
say we could keep it as not started, same importance, and it's MCI relevant.
It'd be lovely to have.
Yeah. I think as it compares to other things, I'm not thinking that we need to elevate it to high importance, but I think keeping it at the same importance would be helpful so that people can see it's an improvement we want.
I agree.
Okay, let's see. Assabet River Trail. Trails Committee, bridge behind Thoreau School. Okay, so this is a trail that I don't know overly well, but it's informal right now, you're saying, and it could have better signage. Same importance. Would we say that's MCI relevant? Is that like that's off of the Bruce Fruman Rail Trail near the Thoreau School? Is that the location?
Isn't it a little tricky now? So
Near the Thoreau School, wait a minute.
Yeah, so I walk it all the time with my dog and it depends on the conditions. But there's also a situation in that you have to cross Pine Street Bridge. And then you used to be able to walk to Bruce Friedman Rail Trail, but the abutters have now, from the Pine Street Bridge to the Bruce Friedman Rail Trail, it's their land and they have called it private property and they don't want anyone walking behind it.
That may be related to the some construction of the housing that's
It's
going to go on the bluff
only
as
because I
well.
know one of the landowners and they were having issues with dogs and people coming up to their houses. So it's
Mm,
actually, from my understanding, it's private land up to the Assabet from Upland. Especially the curve if you go from Pine Street to Old Marlboro. It's those houses for at least the first like 3 or 4 houses from Pine Street.
okay. So do we think that some sort of improvement is going to happen due to the Assabet housing project that's happening over there? Like, do you think that this
No.
trail system is going to get revitalized with that?
I think it's going to be really tricky because you have it behind the school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very, very informal trail. I don't know if the school district owns it. Maybe Elizabeth knows. And then there's no connecting from Pine Street over to the rail trail.
Okay.
Unless you go up Pine Street and then take a left onto Upland and connect to the rail trail there.
Okay. So let's see. Not started. Would we say it's the same importance as it was when this matrix was developed?
I don't know how it could be completed because of the people who is the private land. And I don't know how you're going to get a proper trail behind
Mm-hmm.
Rose School if it's the school district's land. And also it's pretty steep at times and it's got
Mm.
ice and it's got tree trunks around it and whatnot, and you've got a rusted out fence next to you.
Mm. Yeah.
This may be one of those things that has changed enough since the first design plan was made
Mm-hmm.
that it's just not feasible any longer.
Okay.
And it's not entirely
What was that
clear
valley? No
if
longer
it connects
considered.
to other things or if it's just a little piece of a woodland trail that used to exist
Mm-hmm.
than it does now.
So should we have this one be no longer considered just because it seems to be a bit
So
challenging?
the only
No,
way
I mean,
I know about
I
it is
wouldn't,
I can get it.
sorry, I
at
didn't mean to
my street.
overtalk somebody.
So I only really know about it because I can get it at the end of my street on the
Mm-hmm.
at the base of Chase Street. So I walk my dog there a lot. So I would, yeah, I don't think it's important.
I was just gonna say, like, if it's possible to maintain public access through there, I'm not sure we want to just give it up and forget about it.
But where
Just
would you
because-
park? It's really hard to park there.
Well, maybe you don't park. I mean, maybe it's not something that you, if it's just a trail that the public can use and have been using, do we necessarily just want to say, okay, we're not going to do it anymore? I just
You
don't
can
know because
get it from behind the Thoreau School, which is at the base of Chase Street. And then you can get it to the parking lot, the gravel parking lot of the Thoreau School. And then if you know about the bunny trail, you can get it's basically only behind the Thoreau School right now.
So can I
Okay.
just, because you're at 5 after 9.
I know.
Can I just, maybe you just, needs, further investigation, further conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you, in this matrix, you have to say whether it shouldn't or shouldn't be explored. It just, there, further investigation conversations need to be had about this.
Okay. Yep, that is good. And we'll just leave it at the same. Oh, okay, great. The same importance that it was before. So let's see. Did we get through all of Nicole's? I'm not sure. Yes, we did. That is awesome. Okay. So I think we can probably wrap things up. We've been at this for an hour and a half now, and I think we got a ton done. We still have mine, Greg's, and John's, and if we're trying to get this done by the end of February, I might try to meet with them separately to get their agreement on how they have theirs classified, and I'll be redoing this like low, medium, and high importance and no longer considered in the priority column. Let's see, should we, like Elizabeth, if we were to like vote on our agreement of this matrix in its final state in March, like would that be like early March, because our meeting is the first Wednesday? Is that enough time for the MCI committee and their consultant to use this, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So that's what we'll
and,
aim for.
And Susan, if you and I need to meet and go over something and you're
Yes.
trying to get this done, then we should schedule that now, because
Yes.
I am on vacation the last 2 weeks of February.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Are you working this Friday? Is that too soon for me to try to set up some time with you?
I can do first thing in the morning.
Yeah, let me see if I can get to my calendar here. First thing in the
First thing in the
morning.
morning, or I have Monday morning before 11.
When you say first thing in the morning, do you mean like 9:30 or like 8 o'clock?
This Friday I have a meeting at 10, and
Okay.
I will be on, well, Friday I won't be there till 8:30.
Okay. Yeah, I've got my bone density scan on Friday morning. So let's see. Maybe I should just look at Monday instead.
Monday.
Just you guys figure this out on your own.
Yes.
Okay, so like Monday morning, Elizabeth, can I send you a meeting for Monday morning?
Sure.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna, I think, stop sharing. So the things we didn't get to were planning an in-person meeting or two for this year. We can certainly do that when we meet in March. We'll be hearing from Jen Shuneman that day, and then also we'll be voting on our matrix being complete. So I think we would have time for housekeeping items like figuring out in-person meetings. And I will make some progress on trying to get that multi-committee meeting going. Elizabeth and I can work on that and see what we can set up, and then we can tell you about it in March. Seeing that we have no further business, I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Any public
Oh,
comments?
shoot. Thanks, Barbara. Public, anyone still hanging in there from the public?
I'm all set, thanks.
Yeah, okay. All right, so
Thanks for all you're doing. This is Linda.
oh, well, thank you for being here. Through all the dirty details. So yes, I thus adjourn our meeting at 9:09 p.m. on the 5th of February.